All right. I want to take a moment to talk about flow and something also I call push button focus. And push button focus is something that I just came up with. I actually wrote a PDF a long time ago that I used as sort of a lead magnet on one of my websites. And the idea is basically to use a kitchen timer for things you want to do. And you know, this Pomodoro technique and all of these things, and that's all great. There's something so potent and powerful about having a kitchen timer that isn't your phone and that you can just hit for a specific amount of time and then let your thinking turn off. And so that you know, I'm not doing anything else but this particular thing I'm doing. It's super simple and super common practice now. So push button focus is something I was talking about 15 years ago. And again, you know, common knowledge is not so common. It's not so used so often. Excuse me. So I wanted to bring that up because there are these little things that we can do in our lives to make our life easier. And there are three things that you can put together. Well, actually a few more, and I'm just gonna share this with you. It's just a little tool, a little potential technique that you can use. All these things can become crutches if you feel like I can't do anything until I have my kitchen timer, or I can't do anything without my baseball cap. I can't do anything until I have my morning routine. I can't do anything. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be at the whims of your emotions, at the whims of your pseudo structures. You want to be free from all of those things to perform when you need to perform. So keep that in mind, and we can talk more about that. But when you're struggling to focus, or even when you're not, actually, I would use these things when you're not struggling to focus, because then you're training your mind in a way to know. You can use pen and paper and a kitchen timer. So it's very analog instead of digital. And then the use of a baseball cap and a hoodie, or earmuffs, or headphones. A lot of people will do that as well. But these things together, what they will do is hone in your focus. And the opposite of what they do is keep from distraction, right? So when you have your hood on, you're not seeing in the peripheral vision. When you have a timer going, your peripheral mind, if you will, is not dragging you away to other ideas and things to do. When you have pen and paper, you don't have all the other nonsense that's on your phone to distract you as well. Of course, you might need to do work on your computer or whatever. Figure it out for yourself. You know how to use these things in that regard. So all of these things are kind of anti-distraction technologies, but they're really simple. Now, I wanted to push this toward the idea of putting yourself in flow states. I love this idea that flow is not what we've been told. Flow is where you put your eyes and your attention. So this idea is really interesting to me, because when you're focusing on something, you have a biological response, and I don't know all the biology around it. I don't remember anymore. But basically, things will happen, and your attention will narrow down, and your vision even will shift. And wherever you're putting your eyes is where you're going to go. You know, I don't know if you ever walked on the edge of a sidewalk, and you're just walking along, and then you kind of look over toward the street side, and for some reason you feel like you want to fall into the street or be pulled over. Or if you ever walked along a bridge, for me this happens. I start looking over the edge, and then I get this kind of sensation like, man, why do I feel like I could so easily just fall over the edge? And that's because my eyes are going somewhere and focusing me somewhere and taking me that direction. Anyways, it's not 100% true what I'm saying about the eyes, that your focus follows your eyes, but mostly it does. So it's a huge, it's a huge part of the brain. And, well, you know, your eyes are your brain, as people have come to know. But anyways, so think about that. So flow will follow your vision. And this is one of those other ideas why old newsroom people, they could be around 100 people running around and making noise, and they have a deadline, and they can sit there, look at their computer, and just zone in and bust that deadline out, and no problem, with all the noise and distractions. You see? So another thing I want to put into the play here is to practice being amongst chaos while you're doing what you're doing, so that you can hone in and be familiar with the ability to focus and put yourself in a flow state, or just let's call it a focus state. You know, your focus and your intention and your attention follow you, as opposed to you following them. So practice this in situations where it's noisy or there's things moving around, and you'll strengthen your ability to focus on whatever the task is or whatever the thing is that you're doing. So interesting. The research and the conversations around focus and flow, I think, are very much unknown still. It gets pushed out and sold as if we know how to do it and what it's all about. But it's such a mysterious thing, the way the mind works. There's so many unknowns. So use these things and come to know them for yourself, and use them as sort of boosters or power-ups, if you will, and like using video game technology. You power up, put your hat on, your hoodie or whatever, put on a kitchen timer and just go. And then create your environments. You already know this, we'll talk more about that, but you can also create your environments. But I don't want you to have environments be a crutch again. It really is a thing that happens to a lot of people. And we're gonna talk about this in regards to feelings and emotions, because that matters too. And confidence is a big one. You wanna be free of your need for confidence. You don't wanna have to feel confident to perform well. So it's an interesting conversation to have. So we'll explore that some more in this exploration of a lucid mindset and using our abilities to do the things we want to do in the way we want to do them. All right, I'll talk to you soon.